All right, today we're going to be talking from the Bible. Who is ready to receive the message?
Hari ini kita akan berbicara dari Alkitab. Siapa yang siap terima firman Tuhan hari ini?
We are ready. You know, this book
Kita
has the
siap.
power to change our lives.
Jadi buku ini ada kuasa untuk mengubahkan kita.
And I am a testament of the power of this book.
Dan saya adalah saksi dari kuasa dari buku ini.
The Bible has profoundly changed my life
Buku ini, Alkitab ini telah mengubahkan kehidupan saya.
because it teaches me how to be like Jesus.
Karena ini mengajarkan saya bagaimana saya bisa menjadi seperti Tuhan
And
Yesus.
this book has made me a better mother,
Dan buku ini membuat saya menjadi ibu yang lebih baik,
a better wife, although my husband might say that I need some more work on that, like need to keep reading some more scriptures, but I'm better than I would have been without the Bible, babe.
Jadi
Definitely.
buku ini membawa saya menjadi istri yang lebih baik.
And this book has just transformed my thinking, the way that I live my life.
Dan buku ini mentransformasikan bagaimana cara berpikir saya dan bagaimana saya hidup.
And we've started a new series at as a church called Going Deeper.
Jadi series yang baru di gereja kita yaitu Lebih Dalam.
And as part of this series, we're really going deep into the scriptures.
Dan di series ini kita mau menjadi lebih dalam lagi untuk belajar Alkitab.
And we're going to be looking at some key characters that are found starting off in the Old Testament.
Jadi kita bakal mulai dari karakter-karakter Alkitab yang ada di Perjanjian Lama.
And we have the opportunity to learn from their stories.
Dan kita punya punya kesempatan untuk belajar dari mereka.
Now, in this series, we're going to be answering 3 questions every week.
Dan setiap minggunya kita akan menjawab 3 pertanyaan dari cerita Alkitab ini.
The first thing that we're going to learn is what do we learn about God's character and his nature from this story?
Yang pertama adalah apa yang akan kita pelajari tentang karakter dan sifat Allah dari cerita itu, dari karakter itu.
And number 2, what does this story reveal to us about Jesus?
Yang kedua, apa yang diungkapkan cerita ini tentang Tuhan Yesus?
And number 3, how can we apply what we've learned to our own lives?
Dan yang nomor 3 adalah bagaimana kita dapat menerapkan apa yang telah kita pelajari dari kisah ini dalam kehidupan kita sendiri.
So it's my hope for all of us here that we're going to get a deeper love for the Bible.
Jadi harapan saya kita bisa lebih dalam lagi mengasihi mencintai Alkitab ini.
Maybe you don't have a great relationship with the Bible just right now.
Mungkin kita belum punya hubungan yang baik dengan Alkitab saat ini.
Maybe when you look at a Bible, you're like, too hard, I can't do it.
Pas kita lihat Alkitab, aduh terlalu sulit untuk dibaca.
Or maybe you think, I don't know where to start. Like, what do all these books mean? And where am I meant to start at the beginning?
Dan mungkin kita nggak tahu dari mana kita harus mulai. Apakah kita mulai dari awal?
Well, it's my hope that as a part of this series, that each of us will get to learn how we can read the scriptures.
Dan harapan kami adalah ketika kita berada di series ini, kita tahu bagaimana kita bisa membaca Alkitab.
And as followers of Jesus, it's not enough for us just to hear the scriptures on a Sunday. I know that might be controversial for some of you, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Ya.
You need to be reading the scriptures every day for yourself.
Jadi sebagai murid Yesus, kita nggak bisa hanya membaca Alkitab di hari Minggu saja, tapi kita harus membaca Alkitab setiap hari.
So if you think about going to the gym for 30 minutes one time a week,
Coba pikirkan, kalau kita ke gym 30 menit sekali seminggu,
it would make a little bit of difference,
perbedaannya cuma sedikit
a
kan?
little bit of impact.
Ada impactnya cuma sedikit.
But if you're just eating Bobby Gouling every day, then that 30 minutes, it's not going to be enough to cover your sins.
Apalagi kalau kita makan babi guling setiap hari 30, cuman olahraga 30 menit aja nggak bakal cukup.
But if you go to the gym for 30 minutes every day,
Tapi kalau kita ke gym setiap hari selama 30 menit,
pretty much you can eat as much Bobby Gouling as you want to.
kita
Is
bisa
that how
makan
it
babi
works?
guling sebanyak mungkin.
That's why we exercise, so that we can eat good,
Ya,
bad
karena
food,
itulah
good
kita
bad food.
exercise olahraga supaya kita bisa makan babi guling.
Okay, I think I need some training about exercise, don't you?
Yeah.
Healthy lifestyle. Okay, it's a little bit similar to that. We
Yeah.
don't want to just feed on the word on a Sunday, but then the rest of the week we're not going to the scriptures.
Ya, jadi kita nggak mau cuma membaca Alkitab di hari Minggu aja, tapi kita membaca Alkitab setiap hari.
And so sometimes when the pastor or the leader gets up at the front, they're like, you've got to read your Bible more. We get this feeling on the inside, don't we? Like, I'm not doing very good at this.
Ya, jadi mungkin ketika pendeta di hari Minggu berbicara di depan dan bilang, oh ayo baca Alkitabnya setiap hari, mungkin kita merasa kayak, oh saya harus bisa lebih baik dari ini.
Didn't Pastor Rach talk about that in January? She was talking about reading the Bible at the start of the year, and I thought now she'd forgotten and we're just going to move on to the other stuff.
Mungkin kita berpikir, oh kayaknya Pastor Rachel udah berbicara tentang baca Alkitab di Januari, kayaknya udah lupa deh sekarang.
As Pastor Emmanuel talked about last week, there is power in doing the basics. the fundamentals on a regular basis. And that's why we keep coming back to them because they work.
Ya, jadi ada kuasa ketika kita memulai dengan hal basic dan juga landasan dan fondasi kita.
So as part of this series, we're going to have little cards. So if you don't mind coming and handing out the cards, you're going to get a sneak peek as to who
Yeah.
we're talking about today.
Jadi sebagai bagian dari firman hari ini, saudara akan dibagikan kartu, tim akan membagikannya sehingga saudara tahu apa yang kita bicarakan.
We're going to get these cards and they're going to be tools for us to use to understand about this story.
Dan ini bisa menjadi alat supaya kita bisa mengerti lebih lagi tentang cerita ini.
We've also got a little poster that's on the wall. We're going to add to that every week
Yeah.
so that we're going to have in a few weeks' time a number of different characters on the wall.
Dan di sebelah kanan atau kiri saudara ada poster yang kita bakal pasang setiap minggu untuk supaya kita bisa mengingatnya.
And for those that have the YouVersion app, I encourage you, if you don't have it, download it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's an amazing app to be able to read the Bible. And Bahasa Indonesia, there's many translations and devotions on that app just for you.
Dan jika saudara belum ada aplikasi YouVersion, boleh di-download. Ini adalah Alkitab online yang bisa kita baca dan juga banyak renungan yang bisa kita dapatkan di sana.
And if you have that app, you can search for C3 Church, the booklet, and find us. And if this is your church home, make us your church home.
Ya, dan juga ada sekarang fiturnya di mana kita bisa pilih, kita bergereja di Sitri The Bukit. Dan jika saudara bergereja di sini, boleh ditaruh di situ.
And so on that app, we're going to be putting a weekly devotion that we can do together as a church.
Dan di app itu, di YouVersion, kita bakal taruh renungan yang bisa kita lakukan bersama-sama setiap harinya.
Connected to the character that we're reading
Ya,
about.
jadi terhubung dengan karakter yang kita baca hari
And
ini.
there's also a little kind of post there, a little blog post that will come up as well with some information. So I encourage you to connect in with that. Let's
Yeah.
just not hear the scriptures on Sunday, but let's be reading them throughout the week.
Ya, jadi mari kita terhubung dan mari kita nggak cuma membaca Alkitab di hari Minggu aja, tapi setiap harinya.
All right, so today's character is
Karakter hari ini adalah
Abraham.
Abraham.
Do you say Abraham?
Abraham.
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 You know, when I hear the name Abraham, I'm trying to say it in Indonesian, I just think of the song.
Jadi ketika saya mendengar kata
You know how
Abraham,
it
saya
goes.
selalu keingat dengan lagu.
Bapak Abraham menunya
Mempunyai banyak
sekali anak-anak. Oh, Grace has got it in the background. No, sorry, Grace, we're running out of time. We can't go there. Can't go there. And so, I don't know about you, but when I think about Abraham, I automatically think Father Abraham and that I am one of his daughters from that song.
Ya, jadi ketika saya mendengar kata Abraham, saya selalu mengingat kalau Bapak Abraham adalah Bapak kita dan saya adalah salah satu anaknya.
And as a kid, I would sing that song and actually be a bit confused because I was like, but I've already got a dad. And why am I Abraham? Like, it just didn't make sense to me.
Ya, jadi ketika saya kecil, pas saya dengar lagu ini tentang Bapak Abraham, saya agak bingung. Saya kan udah punya bapak, kenapa Abraham jadi bapak saya juga?
It's like Father Glenn, that's my dad's name, has 3 kids,
Yeah.
2 girls and a boy. That's the song I should have been singing, but instead I was singing this other song.
Jadi harusnya dia ngomongnya Bapak Glenn. Glenn ini nama bapaknya yang punyai anak 2 perempuan dan 1 laki-laki.
And so hopefully, as part of this message today, we'll get to understand what that song actually
Iya.
means.
Jadi ketika kita mendengarkan firman hari ini, saya berharap kita bisa mengerti apa arti lagu itu.
So Abraham is one of the most important figures in the Bible.
Jadi Abraham adalah salah satu figur yang penting di Alkitab.
And so Abraham, let's get to know him a little bit more. We're going to do a bit of a story time, what we're going to call story time.
Ya, jadi kita bakal ada story time, waktu untuk bercerita saat ini.
Okay, so Abraham was born in,
Abraham lahir di,
you can use your notes.
lihat di notes-nya ada, ini
Ur.
bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris. Di Ur.
You're going to say it fancy, aren't you, in
Ur.
Indonesian, because you can
Ur.
roll the R. In English, it's like,
Ur.
like we used to say that to us, what is, anyway, that's not a nice, anyway. So, is in the ancient city of Mesopotamia, which is now modern day Iraq.
Ya, jadi Ur itu ada di Mesopotamia, dan sekarang adalah Irak.
And so Abraham's name didn't start out as Abraham, it started out as Abram.
Jadi nama Abraham awalnya bukan Abraham tapi Abram.
Anyone had their name changed since
Siapa
when
yang
they were
namanya
born
pernah
to
ganti?
Jennifer? Not really. Lynn? Yeah.
Jennifer.
So he had his name changed by God, but we'll hear about that
Ya.
in just a moment.
Jadi namanya diubahkan Tuhan. Nanti kita bakal dengar ceritanya.
And something that was a bit considered, it was actually normal at the time, but in our minds we're kind of like, ooh, that's a bit controversial.
Iya. Jadi di saat itu normal. Mungkin sekarang kita berpikir, oh kayak kok ganti-ganti nama.
Abraham married his half sister.
Abraham menikahi setengah saudara tirinya.
So his
Yeah.
dad's daughter, but not his mum's daughter.
Ya, jadi anaknya bapaknya tapi bukan anak dari ibunya.
Does anyone know her name?
Siapa yang tahu namanya?
Originally it was Sarai.
Sarai.
Sarai. So now laws about marrying relatives, just make this clear, that came into play a few hundred years later. That's why it's not a thing now.
Yeah.
So it's not so controversial, just in
Yeah.
case you were thinking, controversy. This story does have controversy in it,
Yeah.
but that is
Yeah.
one that's not so controversial.
Ya, jadi dulu menikahi saudaranya itu nggak apa-apa, tapi setelah beribu tahun sekarang kita hidup itu nggak boleh kita menikahi saudara kita.
Now, around the age of 75, Abram received a dramatic call from God.
Jadi di umur 75 tahun Abraham mendapatkan panggilan yang dramatik dari Tuhan.
Let's have a read of it. Genesis 12, verses 1 to 5.
Mari kita baca di Kejadian 12 ayat 1 sampai 5.
The Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you."
Berfirmanlah Tuhan kepada Abram, pergilah dari negerimu dan dari sanak saudaramu dan dari rumah bapamu ini ke negeri yang akan kutunjukkan kepadamu. Aku akan membuat engkau menjadi bangsa yang besar dan memberkati engkau serta membuat namamu masyhur dan engkau akan menjadi berkat. Aku akan memberkati orang-orang yang memberkati engkau dan mengutuk orang-orang yang mengutuk engkau. Dan olehmu semua kaum di muka bumi akan mendapat berkat.
So anyone here living in Bali, but your hometown or your home village is from somewhere else, another island, another country?
Siapa yang tinggal di Bali tapi kampung halamannya bukan di Bali?
So there's quite a lot of us, yeah? So
Banyak ya.
we sort of know what it feels like to leave our family, leave our culture, what we know, and go to a new place.
Jadi kita tahu rasanya bagaimana kita keluar dari kampung halaman kita dan nggak tinggal di situ dan meninggalkan keluarga kita.
And so Abraham, he received this call from God, and then he stepped out straight away and obeyed that call.
Jadi Abraham menerima panggilan ini dari Tuhan dan mendaatinya langsung pergi saat itu.
And so he went down to south from where he was to the land of Canaan.
Jadi dia pergi ke selatan di tempatnya dia saat itu ke tanah yang namanya Kanaan.
So he was joined by his wife, Sarai,
Sarah ikut
and their household servants and his nephew Lot.
dan budaknya dan juga saudaranya Lot.
And when he got to that land, God said to him, "This is your land."
Jadi ketika Abraham ke sana, Tuhan bilang, ini tanahmu.
And Abraham received that word as a word from God.
Dan Abraham menerima itu dari Tuhan.
And so have you ever had a promise from God?
Apakah kita pernah mendapat janji dari Tuhan?
Maybe in your teenage years, your early 20s, often God gives us visions about the future.
Mungkin di saat kita remaja atau di pemuda, Tuhan kasih kita visi tentang masa depan kita.
I had a vision of one day being married and having kids.
Saya punya visi di mana suatu hari saya akan menikah dan punya anak.
Maybe for you, you've got a similar vision.
Mungkin ada visi yang sama.
Or maybe your vision is to buy a Vespa motorbike. Maybe,
Atau visi
maybe
kita-
that's not from God though. Maybe that's just your vision. No.
Mungkin visinya mau beli motor Vespa.
Oh, maybe you've got a vision to be successful in business.
Atau punya visi jadi sukses di bisnis kita.
And we see that Abraham steps out in obedience and he's like, wow, I'm already here in the promised land. Awesome. This promise can be fulfilled right now. Yes, we're
Yeah.
ready.
Jadi Abraham taat dengan panggilan Tuhan dan dia ke kanan itu dan dia, oh ini tanahnya. Tuhan telah memberikan jawaban dari janjinya.
But then a famine hit the land.
Tetapi,
Famine, there was no food.
kelaparan terjadi.
And so Abraham had to leave Canaan, the promised land, to go to a place called Egypt to live there because the famine was so severe.
Ya, akhirnya kelaparan terjadi dan Abraham harus keluar dari Kanaan dan pergi ke Mesir.
And so if you think about our promises, sometimes that happens in our own journey with Jesus.
Mungkin ketika kita memikirkan dengan janji kita, mungkin itu pernah terjadi di dalam kehidupan
We
kita.
can receive this promise from God,
Kita bisa menerima janji itu dari Tuhan,
but then a famine hits.
Tetapi tiba-tiba kelaparan terjadi,
A crisis takes place.
krisis terjadi,
And maybe our plans get changed.
atau rencana kita diubahkan.
And so we find that Abram, he's gone to Egypt. And so when he's there, he's like his wife Sarai. She was a very beautiful woman.
Jadi ketika dia pergi ke Mesir, Sarah istrinya adalah wanita yang sangat cantik.
And he was worried that if they took one look at her, they'd be like, I'm going to take her and to be my wife, like the king that was at the time, and then kill Abram.
Ya, jadi dia khawatir kalau ketika orang melihat Sarah, orang tersebut mau mengambil Sarah dan membunuh Abraham.
And so Abram was like, Sarai, just pretend that you're my sister, not my wife.
Ya, jadi dia bilang ke Sarah, si Abraham bilang ke Sarah, berpura-puralah jadi adikku, bukan jadi istriku.
But this plan got found out.
Tapi ini ketahuan.
And the Pharaoh received all these different like diseases that came upon him and his household.
Ya, jadi Firaun mendapatkan tulah-tulah yang terjadi di dalam dirinya dan juga orang-orang yang ada di negara itu.
And so Pharaoh confronts Abram,
Jadi Firaun bisa menemukan Abraham
and basically they have to leave.
dan Firaun menyuruh Abraham untuk pergi.
And so they go back to Canaan.
Mereka kembali lagi ke Kanaan.
And during this time, Abram and his nephew Lot, they had gained immeasurable wealth, livestock, possessions from their journey so far.
Iya. Jadi Abraham dan Lot saat itu menerima banyak harta dan berkelimpahan saat itu.
And it got to a point that they were so numerous with the livestock that the shepherds that were looking after the livestock for Lot and for Abram, they began fighting each other. It's like, this is my land. No, this is my pasture. No, get away from here. What's your cow doing over in my field? Like there was a lot of fighting going on.
Sampai saatnya para gembala yang melihat domba-domba Abraham dan juga Lot berantam karena tanahnya nggak cukup.
And so they decided to part ways.
Akhirnya mereka berpisah.
And so Lot took a certain section near Sodom and Gomorrah,
Lot ada di Sodom Gomora
and Abram took a section that was separate from him
dan Abraham mengambil tanah yang berbeda dari
in the
Lot
plain of Jordan.
di tanah Jordan.
Now, he's back in Canaan in that kind of area thinking maybe this is the promise is going to be fulfilled. This is it. This is our time.
Dan dia udah kembali ke Kanaan lagi. Dia berpikir, oh kayak ini janjinya, ini saatnya Tuhan kasih janji tersebut dipenuhi.
Got through the famine.
Tetapi lagi ada hal yang terjadi.
But then war broke out.
Tetapi temboknya runtuh.
And so there were some kings that joined together to try and conquer Sodom and Gomorrah, which is where Lot, his nephew, was living.
Tetapi ada raja yang mau menghancurkan Sodom dan Gomora.
And so did you know this about Abram, that he was a warrior? He went into battle with some of his servants to fight on his nephew's behalf.
Tetapi tahukah saudara kalau Abraham adalah prajurit dan pahlawan yang saat itu berperang bersama dengan para prajurit yang lain.
And so he rescued his nephew.
Dia menyelamatkan si Lot ini.
And so around this time, Abram became concerned about this need for a son.
Jadi di saat itu Abraham khawatir kalau keperluan dia tentang seorang anak.
Him and his wife were unable to conceive.
Mereka nggak bisa menerima anak karena Sarah mandul.
And so time was ticking on.
Jadi waktu terus berputar.
And so how could Abraham, this promise of inheriting Canaan and his descendants being able to live there, how could that come to pass if he didn't even have a firstborn son?
Bagaimana itu bisa terjadi kalau Abraham akan mewarisi tanah Kanaan kalau dia nggak punya keturunan?
And as we see along the journey, God confirms again the promise that he gave to Abram.
Ketika perjalanan semakin terjadi, Tuhan memenuhi janjinya.
So the promise was confirmed,
Janjinya dipenuhi,
but it was yet to come to pass.
tapi belum terjadi.
So then Sarai decides that she wants to take matters into her own hands.
Jadi Sarah akhirnya mau membuat keputusan sendiri.
And this is where it gets a bit controversial.
Jadi ini agak kontroversial.
So Sarai decided that maybe if I can't give my husband a baby, that I can offer my slave, Hagar, to be able to conceive a son for him.
Sarah berpikir kalau dia nggak bisa memberikan anak, maka Hagar, budaknya bisa memberikan anak kepada Abraham.
And Abram agreed.
Dan Abraham setuju.
And so Hagar became pregnant and she bore him a son called Ishmael.
Jadi Hagar akhirnya hamil dan memberikan anak yang namanya Ismail.
And immediately Sarai becomes very jealous.
Dan Sarah akhirnya sangat cemburu.
And she treats Hagar in such a bad way that Hagar runs away.
Dan Sarah memperlakukan Hagar dengan sangat buruk sehingga Hagar melarikan diri.
And there's a precious moment, if you're going to read the story during the week, you get to see it where an angel appears to Hagar and actually encourages her and says, yes, you've been rejected, but I'm going to cause your son Ishmael to be a blessed nation.
Ya, jadi nanti di cerita Alkitab mungkin ada waktu di mana Hagar dan malaikat bertemu dan malaikat tersebut menguatkan Hagar kalau Ismail akan diberkati oleh Tuhan.
So even though they tried to take matters into their own hands, God continued to assure them that the promise was going to be fulfilled.
Walaupun mereka mengambil keputusan mereka sendiri, tapi Tuhan tetap mengingatkan kalau janjinya akan dipenuhi.
And this is where Abraham, his name gets changed to Abraham from Abram,
Di mana nanti ini namanya digantikan dari Abram ke Abraham.
which means father of many nations.
Bapa dari segala bangsa.
And then Sarai was given the name Sarah,
Dan Sarah jadinya Sarah,
which is mother of many nations.
yaitu ibu dari segala bangsa.
And God made a covenant with Abraham.
Dan Tuhan membuat janji bersama dengan Abraham.
A covenant is a really strong promise, which is usually confirmed by the shedding of blood.
Ya, jadi perjanjian itu adalah sebuah perjanjian yang sangat penting dan biasanya diberikan darah untuk menyatakan kalau itu benar-benar perjanjian.
And so some more time passes.
Akhirnya waktu telah berlalu
And Abraham is now 100 years old.
dan Abraham sudah berumur 100 tahun.
25 years after God just first said that promise to him, 25 years that promise came to pass.
25 tahun setelah Tuhan berbicara tentang janjinya.
And Sarah gave birth to a son who they called Isaac,
Akhirnya Sarah melahirkan anak yang namanya Ishak,
which means he loves,
yang artinya tilaf.
which is an indication of the joy that Abraham and Sarah would have experienced having their first
Ya,
son.
jadi sukacita yang dia terima dari Tuhan ketika merasakan anaknya.
And so we can just picture Abraham as at this point where actually I can see now that the promise of God is being fulfilled in my life.
Akhirnya Abraham mengetahui kalau janji Tuhan akhirnya dipenuhi oleh Tuhan.
And so he's like, yes, I've got this firstborn son.
Akhirnya aku mendapatkan anakku.
We waited all of these years and now he's finally here.
Kita telah menunggu waktu yang lama tapi akhirnya dia datang kepada kita.
They went through the famine,
Dia dari Tula,
they had a time of war.
ada perang,
There was a lot of traveling that went on in that time.
banyak perjalanan yang mereka lakukan.
And finally the promise is starting to be fulfilled.
Akhirnya janjinya dipenuhi.
But then
Tetapi
Abraham is tested by God.
iman Abraham diuji oleh Tuhan.
And this story is one that can sometimes make us feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Mungkin cerita ini buat kita nggak merasa nyaman.
God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac
Tuhan meminta Abraham untuk menyerahkan anaknya
as a burnt offering.
sebagai persembahan saat itu.
And sometimes when we read the Bible, we can look at it and we can think, that doesn't seem right, that doesn't seem fair, and it's okay for us to ask those questions or think that way.
Mungkin ketika kita membaca Alkitab ini kita berpikir, oh ini nggak adil dan kenapa Tuhan melakukan itu, nggak apa-apa bertanya seperti itu.
Because on the outside, this story does seem that way. It's uncomfortable to read this story.
Karena ketika kita di luar kita agak sulit untuk membacanya, untuk melihat cerita ini.
But what I want us to do in this series as we continue learning about the Bible is to not get to a story that we don't quite understand or we're confused about and then give up and just sort of like, oh, that's too hard, and then walk away from it. I want us to go, okay, God, I don't understand this fully now. I'm going to go deeper into these scriptures to fully understand it.
Jadi ketika kita membaca Alkitab dan cerita itu sulit dan kita nggak mengerti, kita nggak mau kabur dari cerita itu, tapi kita mau lebih dalam lagi mengerti tentang cerita tersebut.
And we'll talk about that in just a moment as the deeper meaning of what this represents.
Nanti kita bakal membaca lebih dalam lagi tentang apa artinya itu.
And so Abraham obeyed this amazing, this is a big ask. Like I can't even picture having to sacrifice, God asking me to sacrifice one of my kids. It's just out of my mind to think that. But Abraham was this man of faith that he was like, yes Lord, here I am. I'm going to do what you asked me to do.
Dan Abraham melakukan apa yang diperintahkan Tuhan untuk mengorbankan anaknya.
And so he prepared his son, he prepared the items that he needed for the offering, and he went on the journey to the mountain where he was going to offer this sacrifice of his son.
Dia mempersiapkan anaknya, mempersiapkan apa yang diperlukan untuk korban bakaran tersebut, dan dia pergi untuk mengorbankan anaknya.
And Abraham was fully obedient. He was just about to get the knife to sacrifice, kill his son. And at the very last moment, God intervenes.
Dengan taat dia mau mengorbankan anaknya dan ketika dia mau menyembelih menaruhkan pisaunya, Tuhan berbicara kepada Abraham.
And he provides a ram for the sacrifice instead.
Dan dia memberikan domba saat itu untuk menggantikan Ishak.
And we can see that whole story is just a testimony to us about Abraham's faith
Dan ini adalah sebuah kesaksian tentang iman Abraham
and his devotion to God.
dan dia rasa tunduknya dia kepada Tuhan.
It says in Genesis 22 verse 12, "Now I know," this is the angel of the Lord speaking to him, "Now I know that you fear God because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son."
Sebab telah ku ketahui sekarang bahwa engkau takut akan Allah dan engkau tidak segan-segan untuk menyerahkan anakmu yang tunggal kepadaku.
And so we see that Abraham's life and his faith, it's so impacting for us.
Kita lihat kalau kehidupan Abraham sangat berdampak bagi kehidupan kita.
And his impact actually went on through, and he's talked about in other scriptures in the New Testament.
Dan dampak ini juga diceritakan di Perjanjian Baru juga.
And I love this, Genesis 24 verse 1, Abraham was now very old and the Lord had blessed him in every way.
Jadi di Kejadian 24 ayat 1 dibilang, adapun Abraham telah tua dan lanjut umurnya serta diberkati Tuhan dalam segala hal.
And when he died at 175 years of age, then Abraham breathed his last and died at a good old age, an old man and full of years, and he was gathered to his people.
Jadi lalu ia meninggal, ia mati pada waktu telah putih rambutnya, tua dan suntuk umurnya, maka ia dikumpulkan kepada kaum leluhurnya.
All right, here ends story time.
Jadi
Scene end. I don't know what you
waktu
do.
untuk bercerita saat ini sudah selesai.
So let's turn our page over. On the back, we've got some questions that we're going to answer just quickly now.
Jadi mari kita balik. Sekarang kita ada pertanyaan yang perlu kita jawab.
And so this is what we want to do is we come to the scriptures, we want to be asking questions. We need tools to help us grow in our understanding.
Jadi ketika kita sudah membaca, kita perlu pertanyaan supaya kita bisa bertumbuh di dalam pemikiran kita.
And so what's one thing that we can learn, firstly, at this first question, about God's nature and character?
Apa yang bisa kita pelajari tentang karakter dan sifat Allah dari sini?
Have a think just for a moment.
Coba kita pikirkan.
What's something has stood out to you in this story about God's nature?
Apa yang berada dalam pikiran kita ketika kita mendengar cerita ini?
For me, I just keep thinking about how faithful God is to his promises.
Kalau buat saya, betapa Tuhan setia dengan janjinya kepada kita, dengan janjinya dia.
We can trust him at his word.
Kita bisa percaya dengan perkataannya.
Sometimes God's timing is not always our timing.
Kadang waktunya Tuhan bukan waktu kita.
And we see that Abraham waited 25 years.
Kita bisa lihat Abraham menunggu 25 tahun.
And sometimes God works in ways that we don't expect.
Kadang Tuhan bekerja dengan hal yang tidak kita pikirkan.
But we can also see that God's able to perform miracles to see that promise fulfilled.
Dan tapi Tuhan bisa membuat mujizat supaya janji itu bisa dipenuhi.
We saw that it's better not to try and take things into our own hands,
Jadi kita juga belajar supaya kita nggak bisa mengambil keputusan sendiri,
but that we can trust God wholeheartedly to fulfill that promise at just the right time.
tapi kita bisa percaya dengan Tuhan sepenuh hati kalau Dia akan mentepati janjinya.
And what I love about this story is there are multiple times, almost every chapter it seems, where God intervenes and keeps encouraging Abraham and Sarah about this son that was going to come.
Di cerita ini banyak sekali Tuhan datang kepada Abraham dan Sarah untuk mengingatkan kembali tentang janjinya.
And God gives Abraham pictures of that your descendants are going to be like the dust of the earth,
Dan
the sand
Tuhan
of the earth.
memberikan gambaran kalau keturunannya akan seperti pasir-pasir yang ada di laut itu,
Or the stars in the sky.
atau bintang-bintang di langit.
And so if you've got a promise from God,
Kalau kita dapat janji dari Tuhan,
we can trust, just as Abraham did, that he's going to bring it to pass.
kita bisa percaya kalau Tuhan akan menepati itu.
And so even if you have to go through the famine,
Walaupun kita harus menghadapi hal-hal yang sulit,
even if there's a battle to see that promise fulfilled,
atau ada peperangan yang harus kita lakukan supaya janji itu dipenuhi,
surely if God has promised it, he will fulfill it.
kalau Tuhan yang sudah memberikan janji itu, maka Dia akan menepatinya.
All right, question number 2. What does Abraham's story reveal to us about Jesus?
Pertanyaan nomor 2, apa yang diungkapkan cerita tentang Abraham kepada kita tentang Yesus?
What do you think? How would you answer that?
Coba kita pikirkan bagaimana kita bisa menjawab ini.
So I naturally go to the story of Abraham having to sacrifice his son because there's something that's quite familiar with that story connecting to Jesus and what he did for us.
Jadi kalau saya mendengar cerita ini, saya teringat dengan Abraham yang harus mengorbankan anaknya ini sama seperti Tuhan Yesus.
And so yes, it seems unjust or unfair that God would ask him to do these things.
Benar, kelihatannya nggak adil Abraham harus melakukan ini.
But we see that actually this story shows us about God giving his only son and just how hard it would have been for the father to lay down his son to sacrifice his life for us.
Tapi cerita ini sama seperti Tuhan memberikan anak yang tunggal kepada kita, betapa sulitnya sebagai orang tua, sebagai bapa untuk memberikan anak itu.
And so we see, if we think about, sometimes we can take Jesus' sacrifice for granted. We can think, oh, it's God, he could do it. Like he's got the power. Yeah, for sure, he can do that.
Jadi mungkin kita berpikir ketika kita mendengar cerita Tuhan Yesus mengorbankan dirinya, kita, oh ya, oke, dia bisa melakukan itu.
But if we think about it, actually this is someone's son. And we think about Abraham having to sacrifice his only firstborn son. That would be so impacting. That would be the hardest thing to do.
Tapi kalau kita pikirkan, ini harus mengorbankan anaknya yang tunggal, maka itu bakal mendapatkan hati kita.
And so we can see in that story that the sacrifice needed to be made. But what happened was God provided a substitute.
Saat itu pengorbanan itu harus dilakukan, tapi apa yang Tuhan lakukan adalah Tuhan memberikan penggantinya.
And so just as we talked about in communion today, what communion is all about is that Jesus has paid the punishment. He sacrificed his life for us so that we don't need to bear that punishment.
Jadi ketika kita sama seperti yang di perjamuan kudus dikatakan tadi, Tuhan telah mengorbankan dirinya bagi kita sehingga kita nggak perlu melakukan itu.
And so this story very much shares lots of parts of Jesus' story. And so we can be inspired, encouraged that even in the Old Testament, Jesus is already starting to come to be seen and revealed.
Jadi kita bisa lihat walaupun dari perjanjian lama, Tuhan Yesus sudah mulai kehidupan Tuhan Yesus sudah mulai dibukakan.
All right, question number 3. How can we apply what we learned from Abraham's story to our own lives?
Pertanyaan nomor 3, bagaimana kita dapat menerapkan apa yang telah kita pelajari dari kisah ini dalam kehidupan kita sendiri?
And you can see at the bottom corner there's a little tool that Pastor Emmanuel spoke about last week, the SPECS tool.
Jadi kita bisa lihat di pojok kanan, Pastor Emmanuel sudah kasih alat untuk kita bisa belajar.
And so when we think about this question, how can we apply it to our lives? We can be thinking, is there a sin that I need to forsake? As I've read this story, I can be aware that there's a sin that I need to forsake.
Ketika kita membaca dan merenungkan ini, kita bisa tanya apakah ada dosa yang perlu kita tinggalkan?
Is there a promise to claim or an example to follow?
Apakah ada janji yang perlu kita klaim atau dan teladan untuk kita ikuti?
A command to obey or a stumbling block to avoid?
Apakah ada perintah untuk dipatuhi atau batu sandungan yang harus dihindari?
And so let's just focus on one example that we can follow.
Mari kita ambil satu teladan yang bisa kita ikuti.
And that's Abraham's obedience to the Lord and his faith in God that he would fulfill his promises.
Yaitu ketaatan Abraham kepada Tuhan dan imannya kepada Yesus.
Now we can see that throughout Abraham's journey, he had some mistakes, some falls, he didn't do the right thing all the time. Sometimes he was wavering in his faith.
Ya, jadi kalau kita lihat di perjalanan kehidupan Abraham, ada saatnya dia membuat kesalahan atau tidak melakukan dengan baik.
And that's encouraging for us because it encourages us that, yeah, we don't have to have perfect faith, perfect obedience, but we're on a journey to get to that place.
Kita nggak perlu punya iman yang sempurna, kita ngikutin semuanya sempurna, tapi kita dalam perjalanan itu.
And the amazing thing about Abraham is that he'd allowed God to work in his life to such a degree that when God asked him to sacrifice his son, he called out, Abraham, Abraham. Abraham replies, here I am.
Ya, dan Abraham membiarkan Tuhan bekerja di dalam dirinya sehingga ketika Tuhan memanggil Abraham, Abraham bilang, "Ya Tuhan."
So he has this heart of whatever you want, God, I want to hear your voice.
Jadi dia punya hati di mana apa yang engkau mau katakan Tuhan, aku ada di sini.
And so that's a position that we too can take.
Dan ini posisi yang perlu kita ambil.
That as we obey God,
Ketika kita mentaati Tuhan,
as we put our faith and trust in Him,
menaruh iman dan kepercayaan kita kepada Dia,
we are going to see those promises from Him fulfilled.
kita akan lihat janji Tuhan dipenuhi dalam kehidupan kita.
All right.